What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Dermy Wormy. I'm playing around with a little camera setting, so I look cleaner today. Look, I'm all clean. I'm not so how I was before. I'm playing around with some stuff. Let's see how it goes. But you're not here for me. No, you're here for the Last of Us review episode. This was episode 6. Yeah, 6. I'm sorry. I don't care. I did not care throughout this episode. I did not care throughout everything else. I was just bored. Throughout this whole entire show, I'm just bored. Uh, there's some decent moments, but you know, communism is a thing. Yeah, communism. And we'll get into it. So we start off this episode at a hunting lodge. Images, hunting, and a man walking up with rabbits. Not a bad image. Okay. Coming out of the woods after hunting, and I know this actor is very famous. I can't think who he is off the top of my head. Chat, you're gonna have to, comment section, you're gonna have to help me out because I know I've seen him before somewhere. I just don't remember where at all. I cannot tell you where I've seen him before. So if somebody does know, please let me know. Anyways, he comes in and he's unarming himself. He's getting told to, because he sees his wife there, and she looks over and he realizes, hey, he has to start unarming, drops his bow and arrow, opens up, and then sees Joel, and Joel tells him to please put down your gun. Well, and that gun you have there. Does as he asks. His wife being a little lippy, saying, yeah, they're nice, let them in. Ellie comes. I'm trying to remember how the scene goes exactly. Dude comes, sits down, chit chats a bit, and says, why are you here? Joel says, I'm here to get stuff. They have a discussion about food for a moment because his wife made him stew, and he's not very happy that his wife did that. And she's like, no. This episode, I was just so bored through. I don't know what it is about the show. I'm getting border and border. And chit-chatting. I do have to point out, though, they wanted to know where they were and wanted to figure out where they are. Can I point something out? They're in an apocalypse. They're in this, post-apocalyptic world. This is not natural. This is not normal. This is not natural. Nobody actually kind of looks like this. So, anyways, they get figured out where they are, and they get told not to go past this certain river. This river is of death. Every time you go past there, people die, the usual stuff. And it's scary and everything. And don't go past there. And Ellie chipes up saying, we're not scared. And the wife says he scared him, and we see Joel. Joel's afraid. And that is a theme throughout this whole episode, is Joel's afraid. Joel's a failure. Joel doesn't feel like he needs to be needed anymore. That is a huge theme throughout this episode. So they get outside, walking around, figuring stuff out. Ellie stole some rabbits. And pretty soon, Joel has to lean up against this. And he starts having what appears to be a heart attack, but in reality, it's a panic attack. Because Joel's afraid. He's scared throughout this whole thing. He's scared. Audio starts dimming down and stuff, and then he works through it. He calms down, and they start moving on. And then we get a bunch of pretty sights. Pretty sights. We soon set up camp. We see Ellie on top of this Aurora Borealis, and they start chit-chatting some more. And I can't tell you what they talked about. I literally cannot tell you. It was talking more about the plan for rotation, things of that nature. Wake up Joel. Joel's going to stay watch all throughout the night. So, and I know there's other things they talked about, but I cannot tell you what it was. I don't remember. Next morning comes along. Joel wakes up and sees Ellie's there with the gun, and he's panicking. He's like, well, why didn't you wake me? That's your time to wake me. And Ellie's like, well, I handled it. See, I'm alive. We're all good. Next morning comes around and they start hiking some more. Bunch of pretty shots. We get a shot of Ellie trying to whistle, Joel telling her to stop it. We see a electric dam that they come by. And Joel's, says, I don't know how this and all that damn stuff works. Next, they come to this river and they're like, Ellie's looks at it and goes like, hey, you don't think this is the r- river of death? Are we on the wrong side? Soon we have people on horseback come around and surround them. They come up over the hill, they sit down, and they're surrounded. All, as you know, and you can basically see, hey, they're surrounded. As stuff goes on, Joel's there, hey, not trying to cause harm. Dude tells him, put down the gun. Joel puts down the gun. Dude tells the girl to move back and everything. Joel tells her to move back so that they don't get shot. They bring out a dog that can sniff infected. And if you're infected, it will kill you. So it goes up to Joel, sniffs him, A-okay. All good, right? We can move along. Now they have to go sniff out the girl. And Joel's getting nervous and everything. He's scared because, Ellie's special, and fear is this main episode. The whole point of fear and failure is the point of this episode. So the dog starts coming closer to Ellie. Joel's getting terrified, going like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And we start hearing laughter and licking because the dole doesn't dole. Why did I say dole? God, I'm tired. The dog doesn't smell infected on her. So everything's all good. They start asking Joel questions and stuff. And Joel says, hey, we're just passing through. We're looking for my brother. I need some help. Pretty soon, Whammons comes up and goes like, what's your name? Who are you? What's your name? And Joel responds with Joel. Then we see them riding off and they get led into this big commune, this very nice commune that has everything there that they ever needed. It is a working, functioning city within this commune. Having that American flag up in this commune is disgraceful because what they are. They start walking along. They see, hey, everything's working nice. It's all set up. Pretty soon we see Tommy. Tommy's there working around and he sees Joel and they run up together and they're in loving embrace and it's all happy. Oh my God, missed you. Well, how is everything all good? They then get taken inside to get a decent meal and what Ellie says, her first time ever. While in here, they catch up a little bit and they're like, hey, we're going here and here. Ellie's being kind of a prick. And they're learning about the place, how it works, and catching up, having to say, after I left the Fireflies, I met up here. We're all good. Everything's good. And as time moves on, they're chit-chatting, having some fun. Pretty soon, I don't know, did I skip that scene? Yes, here it is. Ellie looks up, sees a girl looking at her, and she says, what? Is very belligerent, kind of a prick. And part of it I understand, but at the same time, she's being a word I see you next Tuesday. Word I can't say without an accent. Let's say that. Strong Whammons, whose name I don't even remember, don't care to remember, says, a lot of the kids here haven't seen girls like you in a long time. People like you, they've never seen it. And Ellie's like, well, maybe I should show them. Being belligerent and mean. She asks for her gun. Strong Whammons says, no, kids don't get guns here. Discussion continues on. Joel says, hey, can we have a family discussion here in a bit? And that's when we are revealed that Tommy has married strong, independent females. Yeah, and Joel's having a hard time with that. Joel's struggling. So then they get shown the city. They get shown all the lights because they got the electric dam working. Everybody works shifts. It's all prosperous. They have a bank that they use for a prison. They have schools. They have a movie theater. It's all nice and cool. They show them the farm and everything, and that's when Tommy says, the way this all works is we work in this collective system and everything like that. Nobody actually owns anything, and we all just share it, and it's all wonderful, and we share in the bounty. And Joel chimes in and says, "Oh, so you're all communists?" And well, as time goes on, no, they're not communists. Communism is a charged word, and that's when strong, independent female says, "Yes, we are communists. We live in a commune, and we're communists." Oh, so she's democratically elected to be the leader of the communists. We then get shown horses that Joel's kind of being a prick. We then get Joel and Tommy to basically relax in a bar in the middle of an apocalypse that's run by communists. Everything's nice and prosperous. They're chit chatting away, and Joel's all like, this is nice. Well, we're gonna move on. I came to get you. We're gonna go somewhere. And Tommy's all like, I can't leave. I got it good here. I can't leave. And they start yelling back and forth. Joel's being mean to his brother, saying, I came all the way here for you. I came here to get you. Come on, man. We need to go. Come on, man. And it comes out that no, Tommy can't leave because the strong, independent Waymans is pregnant with his kid. Understandable, actually. Now that I think about it, it is kind of understandable that, hey, you can't leave right now. And with that, they start getting all up in their face, and Joel runs out. He then starts having another panic attack, and throughout his panic attack, seeing his brother prosper while he's been a failure. I'm saying that for a reason. He sees a girl with hair, and he starts looking at her and starts seeing her run up and have her own grab her own kid, and that's when we're revealed that it's not the girl he thought it was. No, it was supposed to be, oh my god, that's Sarah with her own daughter, but it's not Sarah, and I can't have this now because Sarah's gone. Because he failed Sarah. Time moves on. They move into we see Ellie. She had this nice shower. She has a note on the thing on her bed with all these clothes. Ellie starts getting dressed and then finds a feminine product to kindly insert into herself for some reason. I don't know what it is. I don't think I want to know what it is, and I'm happy that I don't know what it is. Ellie then goes next door, and it's across the street is where Tommy and strong independent Wammons, who's the leader of the communists and is Tommy's wife, is living. Ellie walks in, doesn't see anybody there, goes up to this, this chalkboard, not checkboard, and it has some names on it. It has Kevin, who was born 4300, died 9/29/03. Only 3 years old. That's kind of sad. Oh, yeah, 3 years old. Sarah was born in 7/20/89, died 9/27/03. And Ellie's admiring that while Strong Wymans comes in through the back and says, "Hey, I traded for this jacket. I thought you guys lived in a commune. I thought nobody actually owned anything, and I thought you guys lived in a commune. So how are you trading for supplies?" I don't know. Ellie puts it on. She says it's purple, and Strong Wayman says it's eggplant. And Strong Wayman says, "When was the last time you cut your hair?" And Ellie gives her a smart ass answer that I would agree with as well. I only go to the best salons. So Strong Waymans decide, I'm going to cut your hair. So as they're cutting their hair, they're chit chatting a bit. Ellie says, "Hey, I'm sorry that you lost your kids and everything." Well, no. First off, Ellie says, "You're good at this. Was this your profession back in the day?" And Strong Women says, "No, I was a prosecutor down in Nebraska." Or was it Oklahoma? One of the two. I think it was Nebraska. I think it was Omaha, Nebraska, now that I think about it. Yeah. And she says, "Oh, okay. Sorry about the death of your kids." And she says, "Oh, yeah, my son died at a certain age. The other one is to Sarah, Joel's kid." And that's when Ellie learns about Sarah for the very first time. Understandable a little bit. I kind of get Joel hasn't really been communicating all that much, and there's some scenes in here from the game that they've changed up. They try to get the spirit of, but they changed up. And Ellie's all like, "Wait, he had a kid," and that's when Strong Whammons finds out that, hey, Joel hasn't been telling you everything, and she's like, Joel isn't a good person, you know. Joel used to do bad things, and Ellie's like, yeah, he used to kill people. I already know that, and she's like, okay, and then Ellie responds with, you know that Tommy used to kill people too, and she's like, yeah, I do. And as time goes on, she starts trying to pry in and saying, you need to be careful of who you trust. You need to be very careful of who you trust and how you trust them and who you are going to stay around with. And trying to s- cause problems. Next, she says, get ready, get your jacket on. We're going to the movies. Because in this effective communist system that they built, they have a movie theater. Yeah. So at the movies, we see Ellie watching everybody looking around, trying to find Joel and stuff. And then she sees Tommy and I'm trying to get the shot. Tommy and Strong Wayman talking and everything and trying to doesn't know what they're doing, but Tommy leaves and Ellie keeps watching the thing. We go to Joel prying on his boots and trying to fix his boots, and he's not getting successful. And that's when Tommy comes in with a pair of boots for him. Tommy sits down and they start talking, saying, "Hey, you know, what's up, man? What's going on?" And that's when Joel tells him everything. Joel says, "She's immune, Tommy. She's immune. I saw it in front of me. I saw it. She's immune. She's special." And Tommy sits down and says, "Tell me everything from the beginning." We see Ellie walking outside and she's looking for, I guess, Tommy and Joel, but as far as I'm aware, she doesn't find them. Apparently, she does. That's a moment for later. Now we get Joel talking to Tommy and telling him about how everything went down, how Tess died, how he got put in this position by Marlene and everything, how everything's going to shit, and how he's just a failure. He always feels like a failure. He's felt like a failure for a long time, and he has these dreams that he wakes up, and even in his dreams, he's a failure, and he starts crying, and he's a failure, and he's scared, and he's a failure, and he's a failure, and he's scared. I don't want to belittle this because we're getting to territories that I've never played the game. I'll be specifying that. I've seen the game played. I usually walk out when Tommy comes in because I something happens. It's always when get introduced to Tommy and the Tommy's moments where I walk out. So I never actually figure out what the heck happens here. But I've seen Joel cry in the game. I mean, I've seen it. But Joel's basically coming off as a pathetic failure and he's always been scared. And then he tries to basically pawn it. I don't like it. I don't like how it's being presented. Maybe in the game it gets presented a different way. In this, it feels like he's a crying, bumbling buffoon, but throughout the whole game, he's been a crying, bumbling buffoon. Throughout the whole show, he's been kind of weak. Not the Joel we've known. This isn't the Joel we knew, and it feels bad. I haven't actually seen Joel where in this whole discussion, he's like, hey, before, you know, she had to save me. She had to save me because I was weak, pathetic, and a failure. And when I was at my prime, I could have destroyed that person by myself, been perfectly fine, but I'm weak, I'm pathetic, and a failure. That's why she had to save me. I don't like that delivery. I don't like it because all I've ever seen him as not the contrary. In the show, in the games, I've seen him very different. Well, because Ellie is so important and stuff like that, he tries to pawn him off onto Tommy and saying, Tommy, listen, I need you to take care of her. I can't do it. I'm a failure. Please take care of her for me. Okay. He says, but just do it. And Tommy agrees. Says tomorrow they'll do it. As next morning comes on, their discussion stops. Tommy tells Joel where to go for their house, and that's where Joel goes. We get back to the movie theater where Strong Wayman's watching the movie all joyfully. Tommy comes in and they lock eyes for a moment. and Tommy just doesn't go near him because he knows something bad's gonna happen, but she doesn't. So yeah, Joel goes to the house, walks upstairs, opens up the door to Ellie to talk to her, and Ellie's all like, "Is this what we used to deal with? Is this their biggest problems they used to have? Boys, school, what to wear?" And Joel's looking at her and everything, and they begin having a discussion themselves about leaving each other and things of that nature. I know this part is from the game. I don't remember how this went down. I don't think it went down like this because they even specified we changed a few things, but we try to have the discussion there be as close to as the game. Sorry, I don't really care because I'm shooting through this episode because I was just bored. It was a bunch of feelings and things of that nature. And Ellie's like yelling at him, berating him, like, "Why did you want to leave me? You know, everybody I've ever cared about has either died or left, and I've lost everything." And Joel responds, "You don't know what loss is." Well, with that, it's all pretty much decided that they're going to move on. Next morning comes around, Ellie's all packed. And I think it was Tommy comes in. Yep, Tommy comes in to get her. Ellie walks outside. Go to the stables, and that's when they meet Joel, getting ready to leave. Joel's like, "Well, I was gonna steal this horse," and Tommy's like, "Well, we could have given it to you." And Joel looks at Ellie and says, "You know what? It wasn't fair to just pawn you off. I'll give you a choice. You can either come with me," and she says immediately, "I'm going with you." Tommy takes note of that. They get out. Tommy and him say his goodbyes. And, "Love you. You always have a place here at the communist commune." Oh my god. I'm flying through this because I was bored throughout the whole episode. I was simply bored. Don't care. Episode keeps moving on. We get to Joel gets a gun and they walk out. We then have some bonding moments between Joel and Ellie where we see Ellie trying to shoot. She can't get it. She's saying the gun's broken, it's busted. Joel can't do it. Joel says, I'll get it." Takes one shot, hits it dead center, and she's like, "That's not fair." They continue moving on, pretty scenery, chit-chatting along the way, talking about his past, and I'll be honest, they did do a good part here. Ellie says, was the country always like what it was back at the commune? And Joel was like, "No. The country was way too big." Good answer. Downside to communism, you can't do it at a big country. You could do it at a small level, but the larger it gets crappier. He then talks about, hey, she asked, "Well, how did the world used to work?" And he was like, "Well, some people wanted to own everything while other people wanted nobody to own anything." Not fully fair, kind of straw manning some of it, but at the same time fair. And she was like, "Well, what type of person were you?" And he was like, "I was a person that didn't care and I just wanted to do my work. Just wanted to get by." And she chimes in asking him, "Well, what kind of work did you used to do?" And he was like, "I was a contractor. I used to build stuff and everything like that." And she says, "Contractors are cool." And we then continue walking and we hear him talking about I know at one point they talked about football and how that worked, and she's all like, it sounds it's just running one direction. It sounds boring." And Joel's like, "Yes, but it's violent." We end up seeing where they're going for the more fireflies. Yep, they're trying to get to more fireflies. They get into I don't remember where, but they see a sign that says where they are, home of the Bighorns. Ellie says, "Well, what's that?" And he's like, "That's their mascot. It's a sheep." They continue moving in. They're like, "Oh, where is all the fireflies? Where is everybody?" They start talking about how colleges used to work. Bunch of side stuff that just doesn't feel right. And they see monkeys, and then they see, I'm not kidding you, they see monkeys. They then see a sign that points them in the direction where the fireflies are, so that's where they're gonna head. Not seeing anything. just walking, talking, and pretty soon they come up to where the fireflies are with a bunch of guard posts, but no guards. So they hop off, they start walking in, and there's no fireflies whatsoever. They look inside and they find a list of moving supplies. And they're like, I guess they went somewhere. Then they start hearing bangs and pots and stuff, and they're like, I guess not everybody left. They go looking for it, gun drawn, and they open a door, and there was a bunch of monkeys in there, banging on a bunch of pots and pans and stuff. As the monkeys run off, God, that's not great CGI, by the way. Place is empty. They go over to this cork board with a map where a bunch of stuff dots are all pointing to the same place, Salt Lake City. And that's where they're going to go, to Salt Lake City. They end up, before they leave, they hear voices and stuff. They go over to the window and they see marauders walking about. So they decide to try to quietly leave. They get to the horse as they're getting ready to leave. Joel gets alerted from behind, alerted by Ellie that somebody's coming up from behind. Dude tries to attack him. Joel's fighting him, offs him. And that's when Joel looks down and sees that he was stabbed. This is going to end up going into a part that I do know a bit about, but this does play into the next episode when Ellie has to take care of cannibals, the cannibal leader is the voice of Joel from the games. Joel's pierced, quickly gets on the horse, has to run away. More marauders are coming. Ellie starts shooting at them, and they start running away. They're now on train tracks. Episode's coming to an end, and just as they're getting close, Joel falls to the ground and starts basically passing out. Ellie's there pressing on his chest, saying, Joel, wake up. Joel, wake up. I need you. Joel, wake up. And the episode ends. Not a whole lot happened. I liked parts of it. I liked some of the development between Joel and Ellie. Some of it felt very much forced. Don't know what to say there. I was just bored throughout this whole episode. I've been bored throughout this series. Nothing feels like it's actually happening. It's just causing stuff to happen. Like when we take House of the Dragon, for example. House of the Dragon had very slow moving moments, very slow time passes, things of that nature. I liked House of the Dragon because it felt like things were actually moving along and progressing and stuff. And this, it just feels like it's happening. And I can't explain why. Maybe some in the chat can explain it better than I can. I don't know. But that being said, guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it out with your friends, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.